You taste that?
What you eating, man?
That's a little barbecue Bobcat. Do you want to know what it tastes like?
Tell me.
Oh, it tastes like 3-0.
Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend, Erik Ruby. We have got Captain Redbeard steering the ship behind the Mac. The chat is going crazy. Erik, do you know why that chat is going crazy?
I know why, Anthony Totri.
Because it is time!
What time is it?
To meet us on film, because your Arizona State Sun Devils got the job done, winning an absolute thriller 31-28 over the Texas State Bobcats. We have a jam-packed post-game show for you. We've got everybody's favorite segments. We've got bottle service. We've got aftertaste. We've got closing time. We've got by the numbers. We're here to party and talk about the Sun Devils going 3-0. Oh, Erik, you remember at the start of the season when the Big 12 preseason media poll came out and everybody had the Sun Devils at the bottom of that ranking, that the Sun Devils would finish dead last in this conference? Well, I'll tell you what.
What?
Kenny Dillingham and the Arizona State Sun Devils have started the 2024 college football season 3-0. Wyoming, a beatdown.
Domination.
Mississippi State found a way to hang on.
After dominating.
In Texas State, a real football game where your team needed everything that you had, and you got it done.
That is by far and away the biggest thing about this game. Listen, 3-0 is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And if they went out and dominated this game, that would be awesome as well.
Yeah.
But this team had to fight, scrap, claw on the road against an opponent that we've been saying all week is good. And we said they could beat Arizona State University, right? You're on the road on a short week in that type of environment. You go up early, then you go down early, and you fight and you claw your way back. And you do it in a completely different way than how you dominated on the ground against Mississippi State. You went into the air, you went through Sam Leavitt. Of course, Cam seals it at the end, but yeah, we'll get to that. I know, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Go ahead.
We'll get there. It is a breath of fresh air to see this team not just win games, but win games when their back is against the wall.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Look, chat is going crazy. We'll get to some of the comments, but do us a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Obviously, I got lost in the excitement. Also, stay tuned for the tail end of today's show because we do have a surprise announcement for everybody, so stay locked in. Desert Stro in the chat. Perfect season is still alive. JJB, we're here. 3-0. Chat's going crazy. Someone said Leavitt's breakout game. Charles Woodall Pike, we're not Califrado. And I love it.
Califrado's a great name.
I absolutely love it. And I want to start off kind of with what you were talking about, just in terms of you did it differently. Right. We're so accustomed to seeing Arizona State run the football time and time again, feeding Cam Scadaboo and company until it just wears on an opposing defense. That wasn't really the case in tonight's game. Cam Scadaboo, 24 carries, 62 yards, obviously had a big carry to seal the game and then 2 touchdowns as well. But for the most part, Texas State did exactly what we thought they were going to do. Okay, this was a team in Texas State, well coached, a talented group, a group that, mind you, is likely one of 2 or 3 teams that are going to be a non-Power 5 team that could make the college football playoff. They played like that kind of team tonight.
Yeah.
They loaded the box. They said, Scat's your best player. We're going to stop them. Sam Leavitt said, okay, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do what everybody thinks that I can do. I'm going to do what I've been showing in practice, but this team hasn't needed me to do out there on Saturdays. He came out tonight, absolutely balled out. Arizona State fans know that they have a ground game, but now you know you have a quarterback in Sam Leavitt that can sling it when your team needs it.
Yeah, and Shane Diefenbach was watching the game with us. He's in the chat right now saying, leave a like. He's wise as always, but he was saying if this team's passing game becomes like a threat and it gets unlocked, then we're cooking. Yeah. Like this was a dangerous team before. They proved it through 2-0. They proved it on the ground, right? And even against Wyoming, Sam still had some more plays in the air. It was Mississippi State where the air game was not great. Yeah. Right? But he went out there, not only did he just make throws, he made some really, really tough throws.
He did, absolutely.
And he has the interception on there, but that interception, it was a little overthrown, but it was tipped.
Got tipped.
It was tipped, right? So it wasn't like it was exactly just thrown right to the defense.
Yeah.
It's the best game that he's had so far. And ASU went up against a team that was by far and away the best coached team that they've went against. I mean, the offense of Texas State was called almost masterfully.
Yeah, right? No, they did a phenomenal coaching job all the way through for them.
And defense as well, they absolutely took Arizona State's strong suit off of them.
Yeah.
Right? They took them out of their game and forced them to play a different game. Right? So add that to the list of adversities that they have had to overcome on this short week. Right? And they won.
Yeah.
Again, last year, Kenny said, we're still learning how to win games. Right? Even in the close ones, like the Washingtons, right? Like they just didn't have enough to pull it out at the end.
Where's that bamboo now?
The bamboo's growing, baby.
Where's it at now? Where's it at now? And look, we got Craig Morgan with a $5 super chat. Let's go ahead. Let's throw that on the board here. Shout out Craig saying, gents, if you were to do a karaoke to this game, which song would you pick?
Well, this is referencing, we had our PHNX 3-year anniversary party last night. Some karaoke did go down. Totri and I, quite the dynamic duo, as one might guess. What would you do?
It's Don't Stop Believing.
Don't Stop. Oh!
Come on now. I mean, that's all Craig. That's all Craig there. That's he set me up masterfully. There you go.
Yeah,
this is Arizona State education right there.
Craig can hit the high note. We learned that.
No, he can.
He
absolutely killed it. He was Sam Leavitt on the mic, to be honest.
Sam Leavitt on the mic,
taking
hitting the high notes.
Dude, taking shots when you needed him most. Look, we've talked about the offense. We'll get into the defense in a little bit, but let's just talk about Kenny Dillingham.
Dude.
Right? Because year 2, this is only his second road win in his career as a head coach. Feels wild to say after the start that the Sun Devils have had. But again, we talked a little bit about it after week 2. If you're somebody that tried to write Kenny Dillingham off after a 3-9 season, after last year, after picking up the poop that was left by Herm Edwards and company, and now you see what he's capable of, those apologies better be as loud as all of that BS that you were throwing out there before, because Kenny Dillingham has proven that he is the guy to lead Arizona State back to the promised land. Now, whatever that promised land may be, maybe it's going bowling in the Big 12, which at this point, you only need 3 more wins. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's pushing past expectations further, right? Big 12, I'm not going to say the 3 letters. I'm not going to say the 3 letters, but you never know.
No, listen, I know that we're really excited, and absolutely we should be excited. I mean, listen, this is a fantastic moment for this program.
Yeah.
I get it. Some people want to come at us and say, oh, it's such a big deal. Oh, you're matching your 3 wins from last season. It's not just about matching the wins. It's doing it in 3 consecutive weeks. It's doing it in the ways that they've done it. Right? It's not just, they squeaked out a win against Wyoming, then they fluked their way to a win against Mississippi State, and then they barely beat a Texas State.
Yeah.
Right? And then you can start pointing at all these different ways where, maybe they just got lucky. No, they dominated for the first 6 quarters of the season. And then they bent, but didn't break against an SEC team in the second half of that second game where Cam Scatterboo goes off and seals it. This game, completely different. Yeah. Completely different. This was the most talented team. This was the most well-coached team. This was their first road game. Kenny looking for his first road win. And you have to credit so many individual players being prepared to step up because of also the injuries they were dealing with as well. The list of adversity is not the same as it was last season, right? No. Last season was an anomaly with the amount of injuries and just bad luck that this team faced. But this year, they have faced a lot already, and they have overcome that. And they did that with great play on both sides of the ball. The defense hadn't forced a turnover till the very end. And we're talking to ourselves. We're saying, you know what? The defense hadn't forced a turnover yet. The defense hadn't really gotten their hands on a ball yet.
Next play.
Literally the next play was the fumble. And then, of course, after that's the interception as well. This team plays together. They play strong. They play fast. And I think most of all, they believe that they are the best team when they take the field.
Yeah.
They believe they're going to win, even when they're down. And you can see it by the way that they play and make big plays, timely plays, like Sam Leavitt, who made timely plays again after again after again in this game.
I'm just going to say I have no idea where Bobcat Key Bumps is. I haven't seen him in the chat. But Michael Lopez in the chat, Totri was right about the number of yards we needed. I'm just curious, Erik. Did Sam need to have a big game for the Sun Devils to win?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
He did. He did. And he did. He absolutely did.
And you know what? I never said he couldn't do it, right? And
you're right. You are right.
Let's get it clear.
There you go.
Let's get it clear. I never said he couldn't do it. I just thought that the Texas State rush defense, which was the number one in their conference after 2 weeks, was just inflated by the fact that they played Lamar and that they played UTSA. Mm-hmm. So I felt like going into this game, ASU's offensive line has dominated through 2 games so far. Cam Scattaboo in the running back room has dominated through 2 games. I still believe that was going to be the bread and butter, the heartbeat of this offense. We got to a point in this game, Totri, where I was telling you, I don't want them to run the ball anymore.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you have to mix it in there. You can't just throw the ball on that possession.
And they still did. Scat had 24 carries.
Well, right. And that possession was later when they're 3 and out that Scat didn't touch the ball. And I thought that was a bad decision. But they were attacking in the air, and they were picking up their yards in the air. And sure, Cam still got his carries. Cam still got some of his yards. But that's not what won them this game.
Absolutely
Sam Leavitt and this passing attack. Jordan Tyson's first half propelled them to win this game.
Jordan Tyson going over 100 yards, 6 catches, 120 yards, and a touchdown. Obviously, his longest was that 52-yard connection between him and Sam Leavitt. This is the first time an Arizona State wide receiver has gone over the century mark this season. The Sun Devils, again, coming out on top, 31-28. The post-game show is just getting started. Let's go ahead. Let's get to By the Numbers, presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. Now, Erik, a lot of numbers here, but the only number that matters is that final score, 31-28 in favor of the Devs. Passing yards, 246 for Sam Leavitt and company, 268 for Jordan McCloud, and the Bobcats on the ground, $132 for Texas State. Arizona State on the flip side with 101. So total yards, doing quick math, 400 for Texas State, 347 for the Sun Devils. Here's the big one, turnovers. Texas State turning it over 3 times. Arizona State just the 1 INT. Time of possession, 30-16 for Arizona State. Just under 30 minutes for Texas State. What number sticks out to you most?
You know what number's sticking out to me right now? It's not a number up on there.
Not a number on there.
It's 230 people right in here right now.
I love it.
And how many of you are about to hit that like button because our Devils are 3-0, baby? No, but on the real, the big one is the turnovers.
Yeah.
Right? You got outgained on the ground. You got outgained in the air. Okay, this Texas State offense
is legit.
Legit.
They will not lose another game the rest of the season.
No, I don't believe so. This was their Super Bowl. And their offense was really good. Jordan McCloud.
Dog.
Really, really
He's
good.
A dog.
He made some awesome plays.
He did.
Some great quick reads. Obviously, their offensive play calling was really good as well. This is a Texas State team that's a lot better than a lot of people think. And we've been saying that all week. Neither of us picked ASU to lose, but we've been saying this team is good.
Yeah.
Right?
And they are.
And they are. And they also, the way that they play is a way that we mentioned ASU kind of struggles with because they played faster than Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And when Mississippi State was moving in between downs, ASU had to catch their breath a little bit. That's when they started letting up a little bit and started letting Mississippi State score some points. Texas State played that way the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? They played the whole time, the run game, the pass game, everything was clicking for them. But what did ASU do? What did they do? They made the big plays when it mattered the most. The game-winning plays. The plays that change the momentum. The plays that say, hey, it doesn't matter if you outgain us on the ground or in the air.
Yeah.
Because our defensive playmakers and even our offensive playmakers are going to step up when the moment is right. This is a team full of, I know this term gets overused nowadays, this is a team full of dogs. Maybe just a team full of sharks because they smell blood and they go for it.
Yeah. No, you're right. Calvin in the chat. Why are you two wearing sunglasses? Take them off and celebrate with us.
Do you see the reflection?
I mean, look at the reflection of my sunglasses. If Calvin wants to celebrate, I'll celebrate with you, Calvin. I'll celebrate with you. I'm here for it. Nobody has ever asked us nicely to take them off. No, nobody has ever asked us to take them off nicely. They're like, why are you wearing sunglasses?
I will put them back on.
Nobody has asked to take them off, but I will absolutely take them off. Again, Arizona State coming out on top 31-28 over a Texas State team with a veteran quarterback in Jordan McCloud, who has been, they said on the broadcast, been playing college football since the Obama administration.
He's as old as Brock Purdy.
That's wild. That's wild. And then in the ground, Ishmael Mahdi, one of the best running backs in the nation. Okay, like he would be a dominant Big 12 running back in my estimation. And then you got to tip your cap to G.J. Kinney, the head coach for Texas State. I know the Bobcats love having him in town. I'm be honest, I don't think he's there for very long. I think this guy is going to get snatched by a Power 4 program here pretty soon because he is that damn good. Look, we've got a lot more to get into. We're going to get to bottle service, but first, we're going to take a quick break so that we can tell you about our friends over at Sanderson Ford. Guys, Sanderson Ford giving you big payoffs like 0% financing on a bunch of new vehicles. The 2024 F-150, the Escape, the Edge, the Explorer, the Expeditions. Erik, we have officially hit over a month and change since I got to sit and drive for an entire weekend.
And you talk about it every day off air.
In a 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Big Bend. I love that car, okay? I have said I love you to a handful of individuals in my life. Okay, a handful of individuals.
I would like it on the record. I am one of those individuals.
I love that car. I love that car, and I love Sanderson Ford. Guys, if you're in the market for a new car, go check them out. They've got the best customer service in the game, and it goes hand in hand with the best vehicles in the game as well. Shop the Sanderson Ford playoff payoff sale with no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense. Football is back, baby. And so are the deals at Arizona's largest Ford dealership, Sanderson Ford. See dealer for details.
And listen, if you like this hat I'm rocking right now, I don't blame you because I absolutely love it. And of course, it is Branded Bills, who are not only partners with us, but partners with the Arizona State University. It's the perfect headwear and apparel. They got snapbacks, truckers, fitted, beanies, or tees as well. They have you covered. Performance and style combined into one fantastic package. This is seriously the most comfortable hat I've ever worn. I have not taken it off or the other white one that I've gotten.
You wear a lot of hats,
I got
too.
these. I'm a big hat guy. Listen, when you got a forehead like me, you got to break out the hat quite often. And Branded Bills is the only hat that feels this good. Plus, they're a local company right here out of Mesa, Arizona, and they'll partner with you. Get your own logo on there as well. And if that wasn't good enough, you can get 20% off your first order. All you have to do is head to brandedbills.com. Use code PHNX for 20% off your first order. Can we get back into this game?
Yeah, I mean, let's get into the game, right? And we were going through it at a certain point. We were like, okay, there's a couple ways that we could go for bottle service. And for those of you that are new to the program, bottle service, pretty much player of the game, right?
Yes.
I was pretty set on Sam Leavitt getting bottle service for this game. Again, his best game of his career, starting on the road against the best team that this Arizona State squad has seen up to this point. But there was one guy. There was one guy who you just couldn't deny tonight, and he helped get the job done for Arizona State. So tonight's bottle service is going to Arizona State's Shamari Simmons.
Dude.
7 tackles, 1 forced fumble, and the hit of the college football season to date.
You ever watch old school WWE?
Yes.
You know who Edge is? Shamari Simmons straight up speared a dude into another dimension.
Yeah, he dropped him.
He went right at him. But it wasn't just that play. He was good all game.
He was.
And we'll get to the Sanderson Ford drive of the game later. He's heavily involved in that as well. He was knocking dudes down. He was making tackles. He really was all over the place.
Yeah, he made it impossible.
Would you say this is the best game that he's played as a Sun Devil?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, 7 total tackles, 3 solo. The 2 TFLs were obviously huge. It's what doesn't show up on the stat sheet for me that really is part of the reason why Shamari gets bottle service tonight, because you could point to a bunch of different players on tonight's roster that came up in the box score. Shamari Simmons, from that first tackle that he made blocking him an impossible task.
Yeah.
Right? We talked all week long a lot about the size of those Texas State wide receivers, some smaller guys. Yes, they are talented. However, when you are a smaller wide receiver, ultimately, it's just the nature of it. It is a much tougher task to try and get your hands inside the shoulder pads and get any sort of decent leverage against a stronger, faster guy in Shamari Simmons, who's coming downhill. Especially, you saw it multiple times, Jordan McCloud trying to get some RPO passes off. And in reality, the read was there. McCloud made the right read. The outside perimeter wide receiver needed to block Shamari. Shamari was coming downhill so fast that he would just blow up the play.
Yeah, he knocked him right over.
Yeah. It was impossible.
And again, you're right. That doesn't show up on the stat sheet.
No.
Right? He's not credited for a tackle or a tackle for a loss or anything. And if you look at the stat sheet, Miles Rouser, Ghost, led the team in tackles with 13 total, 2 solo, half for a loss. Keyshawn Elliott, I mean, again, they both had fantastic games. Keyshawn Elliott with 12 total tackles, 2 solo, also half for a loss as well. And then X and Shamari were tied with 7. Those were the third and fourth on the team. I mean, this ASU secondary, they struggled at first.
They did. At first, the whole defense struggled.
The whole defense, that defensive line was really struggling to get pressure on there. You could definitely feel the loss of some of the injuries that they've had on that line as well. But the secondary was getting a little torched at first, right? Texas State was getting whatever they wanted. They moved the ball, but then it was like that. And ASU's defense absolutely locked in. And Shamari, he set the tone for that as well. And it wasn't just with that massive hit, but you're right. It's all these subsequential plays around that too, that he stepped up to where you would say, really 7 total tackles, 3 solo? That's your player of the game? Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you watch the game, Shamari Simmons was all over the field. Bees in the chat, good win. Dallas in the chat. McCloud is great defense, adjusted so well in the second half. Props to Ward, because I was doubting play calling from Arroyo was questionable. No, I do want to give major props to Brian Ward, because you talk about this team, Arizona State, through the first 2 weeks of the season, really handled their opponents, right? Specifically on the defensive side of the ball, and it was from the jump. The second play of this season was a pick 6. Nobody in the nation going into this week had more defensive touchdowns than your Arizona State Sun Devils. And then, boom, in a blink of an eye, Jordan McCloud leads the Bobcats to a 21-7 lead over Arizona State. Arizona State offensively is able to turn it around. You go into the half, 21 apiece.
How hard is that as a defense, right? You're on the road, your offense gets the momentum, right? You come in, and you allow them to get ahead in the game. That's the first time ASU trailed all season.
And they trailed by double digits.
Right. And we're going to talk more about the offense. We'll talk more about Sam Leavitt.
Yeah.
I'll continue to make my apology tour, even though I don't really need to make an apology tour. But at the same time, to be on the road, to be in that environment, hostile. I mean, that was a packed stadium. This was their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, let that sink in. This is by far and away the best team that Texas State's playing all season.
Correct.
There's a very good chance that they run the table after this. That's just how good they are. The fans knew it, and the players knew it, and the coaches knew it. And you are up 21-7. All the momentum on your side. Everything is working for you. And it wasn't like they stopped getting good plays and they stopped getting chunk plays. They still continued to move the ball down the field. But the defense found a way to contain them every single time after that, except for once.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of the game, it wasn't just about containing. It was about putting your mark and dominating. And that's when they forced those turnovers as well. When you have a defense that we mentioned all throughout Camp T, even all the way back to spring, how this defense gelled and played so well together, that is when they step up and make plays like they did today. Where, hey, you know what? You didn't have a good first half. You didn't have a good part of this game where you were out there playing up to the standards that you set the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? And you are playing against a team that has a quarterback that's in his 6th year, right? A quarterback that was the player of the conference.
Yeah, Sun Belt player of the year last year.
Sun Belt player of the year. You have a running back who led the nation in all-purpose yards last year. And then you have a bunch of really small receivers, but super fast, which is what you struggled against Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And what did you do? Down multiple people. You were able to, at the end of the game.
You buckled up.
You buckled up. but you stepped up at the end of the game.
Yeah. The defense on the back end won them this game.
When your depth is lacking, which, I mean, obviously they have depth, but when you get injured, you start to lose that.
Yeah.
And your defense is getting better as the game goes on.
And they did it. They did it without a lot of guys on that defensive line. Obviously, still no Prince Door, but Jacob Kongaika didn't play tonight. Zach Swanson didn't play tonight.
Shamari even went down for a little bit.
Shamari went down for a second. Jeff Clark, was iffy going into this game.
Missed last week.
A lot of guys, right? Still no Jordan Crook in the second level of this defense. No LaTerrence Welch in the secondary. So, yeah, Arizona State defensively just... They were beaten up on a short week on the road against your best team.
No Cole Martin.
No Cole Martin.
Either.
And they buckled up in the second half, giving up just a single touchdown, which, again, was a offensive play calling just masterclass, right? Because for Arizona State, they were allowing Texas State at a certain point on that touchdown drive, outside hitch, just sit down in the soft zone, soft zone. I think they got 2 or 3 first downs, and eventually they called a play with a double move. McCloud made just a phenomenal throw. It was a phenomenal call. Arizona State's defense got sucked in because they had been playing the sticks at a certain point in those short yardage routes, and it was a touchdown. But outside of that, you held the team to 28 points that for the entire season has been averaging 47.5 points per game. Yeah. That's a tough thing to do against a really good quarterback, a really good coach, and a really good running back.
We had Bobcats fans in our chat. And honestly, not even just the Bobcats fans in the Sun Devils chat, in the Suns chat. We had Bobcats fans this week coming in and dropping score predictions. They said they were going to put up 60.
Yeah.
They said they were going to put up
crazy.
60.
There's not a lot to do, I guess, in Texas, at least Texas State territory. So I don't know. Maybe they're just living in the YouTube comments.
Yeah, we have some comments about the targeting. Absolutely, we'll get to that in a second.
Can we just nip that in the butt?
Yeah, it was targeting.
It was targeting.
It was targeting. It was targeting
Miles
on both
Rouser
sides.
got away with targeting.
Yeah, it was really on both sides. Miles Rouser definitely got away with it.
Yeah,
and he does lead with his head a lot, so he needs to clean that up for his own safety and for everybody else's safety as well.
And so you don't get booted from the game.
But also the targeting on the other end that was called.
That was targeting.
That was targeting. So you can't get I get that they didn't call it the first time.
Yeah.
And you got to make that up. No, that's not the type of makeup call that you make. You call targeting every time. They should have called it against Ghosts. They didn't. That makes an impact for sure. But they absolutely still should have called it that second time.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Well.
You're right.
But a player that we do need to talk about on this defense, right after you hit the like button, because Craig makes a really good point in chat.
Can we say it on 3? I want to see if it's the same one.
It's 100% the same one.
It is 100%
the same one.
Okay, I got you. It was going to be that one anyways.
I know. Ready?
3, 2, 1. Keith Abney. Just an absolute dog all the way through and through. Man, this kid is so special, and he's just in his second season playing college football. Last year was a part of the very first recruiting class for Kenny Dillingham. He made some strides to play at times last season, got bigger, is really soaked up the system that Brian Ward runs here at Arizona State, and he's DB1. Xavion Robinson, obviously opposite him, he also had, I think, a pretty phenomenal game, but Keith Abney did it at all times, and he has been arguably, and I say arguably because there's a bunch of guys on this defense that have been really good. Keith Abney has been arguably the best defensive player for Arizona State through 3 weeks of the year.
I think there's 5 or 6 guys that you
can
make an argument
but I think
for.
you can make an argument for.
I think he's absolutely in there. And I got to give you credit because that's a name that you've been touting for a very long time that you noticed was really standing out through camp and just individual drills as well. I mean, he's strong.
He's a beast.
He is strong. And you mentioned Xavion as well. Not the loudest game, only 2 total tackles, 2 of those solo, but he had a massive pass breakup that I believe forced either a 4th down or a turnover.
Yeah, Xavion, it was 4th down.
He broke up that pass.
We're able to break it up.
Again, you just have playmakers, and Keith Abney fits into that role as well. And it's why this is a defense that until today had scored in every game, and today still was able to force and turn the ball over because you have players who aren't afraid to step up in that big moment and have the talent to make the plays to get there as well. And Keith Abney is no different. I mean, you're looking at X, Shamari, and Keith back there. Those are 3 really, really good defensive backs.
They are. And the thing is that you can point to some teams in this conference, right, in the Big 12 that have just superstars at DB, right? Like we're talking Kansas has one of the best DBs in the nation. You could talk about Takario Davis at Arizona. But the thing that separates this group is how and it sounds like just bleh, like coach speak, whatever, is these guys are so gelled and they feed off of each other just so well. It's when you have that chemistry, it's the difference in just yards, right? 2-3 yards of where I need to be versus where you need to be, like in baseball, right? Fly ball. You got to call it. Who's got it? At this point, these guys are there. They don't need the calls. They've got it. They're so synced. They understand where these guys are going to be, and it makes a difference. It is the difference of a yard or 2 yards that ultimately gets it done so far, week after week after week.
Yeah, we mentioned this a lot. William in the chat saying, don't forget about Xavion, of course.
Yeah, I mean, he came up with a massive interception.
Yeah, that was a huge play. That was a game-changing play. Even though the offense didn't capitalize, you still flip the field and you waste time there as well. ASU doesn't win this game if X doesn't come down with that pick. But specifically what I remember about this defense and what we picked up from them when we were looking at camp and looking at practice, I mean, look at everything on paper here right now. This is not a defense that's returning a lot of starters from last year.
Yeah.
This is a defense that has a lot of transfers, a lot of new names. And of course, you're returning B. Ward D-Cord as well. And that's still the most important because all the players wanted to come here because of his system. But when I was up there at Camp T and I saw the defense, it wasn't just how they played. It was how they celebrated. Yeah. It was how they celebrated each other's wins. And the moment that you knew this team was real on defense was 5 seconds into the first game.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to have this many moving pieces on a team that won 3 games last year? And on defense, you come in and you look like a well-oiled machine.
They won 3 games last year, dude.
They look like a well-oiled machine out there on defense.
Yeah.
Everybody knows exactly where they're supposed to be. And not only do you have a lot of moving pieces as far as from this season to last season, within this season as well.
Yeah.
Even before it started, Prince Dorba, out. Tate Romney, out. Right? Kingaika now, out. Jeff Clark was out last game. You have so many players on this team that are now on defense specifically getting put out of the game for injuries. And it doesn't matter in a vacuum because of everybody else still being able to play next to each other and to still have great games. I mean, Clayton Smith didn't have the loudest game.
He had a sack when they needed him, though.
He had a sack when they needed it the most. Listen, you have to give a shout out to Elijah O'Neal. He's played out of his mind this season. Yeah. Only 2 total tackles, 2 of those solo, right? But 4 quarterback hurries.
But it's not all, exactly. It's not all the box score.
But what I'm saying is what you mentioned about the fact that you have so many different players that you could argue is the best one on this defense and how they play together.
Yeah.
You are going to have games like this where somebody like Shamari Simmons, who is not even a top 2 in total tackles on the team, was your best defensive player out there.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's incredible.
That is how they set each other up for success and how confident they are in each other. And we haven't even mentioned Keyshawn Elliott, really.
Yeah, and he was flying around too. I mean, just all game. Look, I do want to talk about Sam Leavitt, so we can go ahead and get into the quarterbacks. But first, I want to just, again, for everybody in the chat that's an ASU fan, which I imagine is a lot of you, like, this program was just a few years ago one of the biggest laughing stocks in all of college football. In the middle of an investigation, you had a former NFL head coach, NFL player come lead your program, and he let him into the dirt, wasted talent like Brandon Ayuk, Rashad White, Jaden Daniels, Ricky Pearsall. The list goes on. And now you are 3-0. In 2023, this program was 3-9. And you have already matched your season win total, and it is September 12th. Enjoy that. Enjoy being 3-0. Because last year, if you were in these post-game shows, it was brutal. It was a lot. There wasn't a lot of amazing things to talk about. And now you can sit here for an hour and a half like we did last week, and you could sit here with time just cruising by because you're talking about Keyshawn Elliott having a phenomenal game. You're talking about 2 super competent coordinators in Brian Ward defensively and on the offensive side, Marcus Arroyo. You're talking about Kenny Dillingham, the bamboo that he talked about last season when you didn't see it, right? Because you couldn't see it when it first started. But boom, here you are in September, undefeated. Not a lot of college football teams can say that. And guess what? I'm saying it right now. I don't care what happens throughout the rest of the week. Arizona State is getting votes for the AP Top 25 after tonight's win. They are absolutely getting votes. And depending on what happens at the bottom half of the AP top 25, the Sun Devils could sneak in.
Yeah, I don't know if that's this week. I think votes for sure.
Guaranteed. They get votes.
I think at least a vote, right? At least a vote. I think if they beat Texas Tech, and if they beat Texas Tech convincingly, there's no way you can keep them out.
I don't even think you got to beat them convincingly.
There's no way you can keep them out of the AP top 25. If they're 4-0 going into a bye week and then going to face Kansas, college football wants them to be ranked.
Yeah,
so they can bring game day against Kansas.
Yeah.
Come on.
Kansas at this point, they're out of the AP top 25 too.
But what I'm saying is that's still a good team. I don't think they're a great team.
I think it's a good team. I mean, you're looking at Utah now too. But look, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Everybody who's here right now who doesn't know, we do this 5 days a week. We're going to be back tomorrow at 1:30. We'll talk about the Big 12. We're going to be back next week, even though ASU has a play this weekend. We're going to go all throughout next week until the Texas Tech post game. We're going to be talking all about the Big 12, ASU, where it stands, all the news that comes down with it. It's not just post games that we have here, but we appreciate you being here right now. There was a comment from, I believe it was Ocho Cinco in the chat a little bit earlier. Chad Johnson says, no, a little bit higher up, says, we can finally be proud of our team again because we all believed in Kenny. If you were an Arizona State football fan, you believed in what Kenny Dillingham was building. But there was just certain facts of life you could not ignore until the results on the field caught up with what you believed in.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of year 2, 3 games in of year 2, with the situation that this coaching staff, that Kenny Dillingham was handed, you were looking at a team that we are talking about getting votes for the AP top 25, undefeated.
This team was picked last, bro.
In the Big 12.
Oh my gosh. Where are you all? Where are all the media members that were just there and at Big 12 Media Day, and I looked you in the face and said, like, where do you have Arizona State in 16? 16 was where you had them.
Yeah.
16 is crazy. 16 is absolutely butt booty wild.
But what do we say? For me, I think it's a bad take. It's the wrong take, but I don't blame them because I know that they don't know what we've known being up close and personal.
I blame you. Be better than that.
But they don't know like our diehards know or like these diehard ASU fans know. Yeah. Where you're up close and personal and you're saying, wow, this roster is actually a lot more talented.
Yeah.
Even though they're having players who didn't play a lot at their last school or didn't play at all in the past year. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they don't understand what Kenny and Marcus Arroyo and B. Ward Decord and all the other amazing coaches that don't get mentioned nearly as often as they should are building here. Yeah. Or the fact that ASU, as far as an athletic department, has built an infrastructure around this program in order to actually support them. We've seen that because we've seen it up close and personal. But for whoever out in Cincinnati, whoever's out in West Virginia, who's
those
covering
teams
the team,
suck, by the way.
But they don't
Cincinnati
is
bad. Houston is bad. Those are your worst teams.
They didn't know, but now that you're playing games, now that it's on the field results and success, they have no choice but to look at it. And we might have to peel their eyes open because they don't want to believe it. But you better believe it because this team is legit.
They are legit.
This is a good football team. There is no way around that. You don't get to where you are at right now if you are not a good football team.
Yeah, you are. And that's what Arizona State is. They're a good football team.
And they're led by a good quarterback.
By Sam Leavitt. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about Sam Leavitt here.
Please.
This kid, 19 of 30, 246 yards through the air, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, quarterback rating of $136.5, 11 carries, 40 yards, still a little skewed, obviously, because of the sack numbers, and then obviously 1 rushing touchdown. So just 286 total yards.
Yeah, you're okay. You were right.
286 total yards, 2 total touchdowns. He made some serious throws. And I know there was a lot of people wanting him to connect on that deep ball. He finally did, connected on a nice deep ball with Jordan Tyson. For me, again, we can talk about certain plays that were obviously the home run hitters that you're going to see on ESPN, you're going to see on Twitter, whatever. But there are certain plays that you're not going to see. My favorite play from Sam Leavitt tonight was a play that there wasn't a completion on. It wasn't a completion.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it was at a certain point, second half, there's a Texas State defensive lineman running off the field. Sam looks to his left, sees that the defensive lineman is still in bounds, snaps the football, right? That is an awareness thing, right? Because everybody on the broadcast talking about he's a young, inexperienced coach, or quarterback. There you go. He was able to realize that, snap the football, knew that he needed to take a shot. Why? Because it's a free play. Heaved one to Jordan Tyson, got the PI. Now, I'm going to give him extra credit because the ball was about 2 yards underthrown. A smart quarterback would underthrow that ball knowing that you're going to get pass interference because the defensive back is not going to be able to turn around and get his head around. Whether that was the case or whether it was just an underthrown ball, regardless, he gave his wide receiver a chance to go make a play, knowing that regardless, the worst case scenario, you're getting 5 yards.
Yeah.
That was the best play of the night in my eyes from Sam
It was definitely the smartest.
Yeah.
Definitely the smartest, most heads-up play. And he's shown that. We said it multiple times, right? He maybe the first couple games he needed to rein in his deep ball a little bit, right? And he still has a couple passes that were a little bit too strong or a little bit over a receiver's
just
head.
Some touch things.
Again, this is my favorite stat about Sam Leavitt. It's not really a stat. He was born in 2004.
It's gross.
2004.
It's gross.
And he's going out there, first of all, leading your team to 3-0. Right? Even if your quarterback isn't your best player on the field like he wasn't in week 2, 2 out of the 3 games, he has been an absolutely key and crucial part to that. And I would still say in week 2, he was still a big part of that because of his ground game as well. I think a play that really, really stood out to me was blitz off the edge. Nobody picked up. Texas State defender. Sam's blindside. Immediately, split second, spin, turn around, go and pick up. I think it was like 7 or 8 yards.
That was on that in the fourth quarter, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. He got a few yards on that. I don't know if it was 7 or 8.
I think
it was probably, honestly, I think it was like 3 or 4. He didn't get that. Yeah, because he slid.
Oh, that's right. He did slide.
He slid, so it stops.
Welcome. Good job. Good job for you.
Man,
but still, I mean, that should have been a sack. And he had taken a couple sacks. He had taken a couple sacks so far this game.
He baited the edge, knowing that they were going to crash hard. Did his little spin because nobody anticipates Sam Leavitt being that athletic. And he made him look like a fool. And he slid, keeping the clock running. Right? Huge. He's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Is this team is 3-0. Sam Leavitt today going for over 200. Another rushing touchdown. Mind you, he had, I believe, 1 or 2 last week as well. This kid is only going to get better. It's crazy to believe he did it over an SEC team. He did it over a Texas State team that has been clawing and will still be clawing to try and get a college football playoff bid. And they absolutely dominated Wyoming at the start of the season. He's done it in 3 very different ways. And now you get 9 days. Now you get 9 days, rest, recover, get healthy. You're back on the road against Texas Tech, a team with arguably the worst defense in the Big 12.
Listen, him continuing to be better is all that you can ask for out of a quarterback in his position.
Yeah.
Right.
Facts.
This is the first real college football that he's been playing. This is his 3rd real college football game. Right. He even said we had him in studio. We had him in studio after week 1. And I asked him, what can you do to be better? Like, what did it feel like to be out there? And he was like, man, I hadn't been hit in so long.
Yeah.
That, again, you're not talking about somebody who can pull from some past experience to get better. He's learning in the moment on the fly, and he continues to improve. And I know there are a lot of people who are still, a little wary with some of his touch on passes, but he was making some really difficult throws. Even in the short to medium range, he was making some reads and some deliveries that he wasn't making the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What is he going to do week 4, 5, 6? Like, what is he going to do beyond that?
It's scary. It should be scary for the Big 12.
The sky is the limit for this guy. He has the size, he has the body, he has the athleticism, he has the brain, and he has the arm.
Yeah.
Right?
He's got it all.
And all the things that he has to fix are not things that you can't fix. It's not like, man, he has everything, but he's in Bryce Young's body. Right?
Gosh. Bryce Young taking shots on this one.
I love the random shots that I throw at people, but you get what I'm saying,
no, I hear
right?
You. I hear you.
Again, we said last week he relied a little bit too much on his legs. Relied a little bit too much on his legs.
I got it done.
Didn't do it this game, but he still used them when it was necessary.
Yeah.
And he would have a better stat line. There were still a couple drops this game that was on the receivers. I mean, obviously Melquan Stovall is the big one that you think about.
Yeah, because that puts the game away early.
Yeah, that puts the game away right there. At that point, you don't capitalize on the interception. You go 3 and out, and then King and Floyd with a boot. Shout out Huskies.
It was nice.
Skis,
it was really
with
nice.
With a boot. And that in essence also kind of saved the game. But if Stovall is able to grab that with the steady hands that he usually has, like that's different. And again, that adds to Sam's stat line.
You're 100% right.
I mean, you're looking at you're 20 for 30 and 250, 255 in the air.
Yeah.
Right. There's not really much more that you could ask for because the interception wasn't really on him either.
No, you're right. A little bit.
It was a little overthrown, but if it wasn't tipped up in the air, that wasn't going to get picked.
No, you're right. Look, we have 180 plus still in here. If we hit 140 likes, we will go ahead. We will drop our special announcement that we have. So we just need 14 more likes, and we will definitely spill that for everybody. But I do believe it is time for our Sanderson Ford drive of the game. Football is back, and so are the deals at Arizona's largest Ford dealership, Sanderson Ford. Shop America's most awarded Ford dealership with no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense. Erik, tail end of the game, I asked you. You pick the Sanderson Ford drive of the game. I wanted to get your 2 cents on what you think was the game-changing drive for the Sun Devils.
There were a couple options, for sure. I mean, it could have been the shortest drive of the game. I mean, I'm looking at defense specifically for this game because this defense in the second half really stepped up and won this game and shut Texas State down after they put up 21 in the first half. So for me, it had to be somewhere on defense, right? Could have been the 6 seconds where they ran one play, ASU forces a fumble, picks it up, but I believe it was the play that ends with an Xavion Alford interception. So it starts not too great. Pickup of 12 yards, shotgun pass from Jordan McCloud to Jaden Williams, caught at the Texas State 30 for 12 yards. Not great. Then no huddle, shotgun, Jordan McCloud, pass complete short to Joey Hobart for minus 6 yards. Shouldn't have caught that ball. You know who blew up that play? You know who made that tackle? Bottle service. Shamari Simmons, right? Then
that was the loss of 6, right?
That was a loss of 6, right? Then Ishmael runs it up the middle for 5. And then they go so fast, literally so fast in between plays, no huddle. So where ASU's defensive line is actually turned around when the ball snapped, 2 players were, McCloud heaves it downfield. And who else?
Interception.
But Xavion Alford.
That was a hell of a drive. That was a hell of defensive drive. That was absolutely awesome.
I mean, that play by Shamari was one of the best of the game. And then, of course, the play by X, even though it wasn't capitalized on offense, waste enough time, and then it leads to a Kenyon Floyd punt that pins them back on the other end. That's the game. That's the game.
Yeah. I'm so happy to see Xavion Alford get that, man. He deserves that.
Absolutely.
A kid that obviously went through everything that he went through last year to come up with a big time interception and a big time game for this team. A leader for this team. Really, you see it in all those post-game videos. We talk to him all the time. And he really is. He's that dude. And Arizona State is lucky to have him. We immediately hit over 140 likes. This is awesome. So I'm gonna leave it up to Erik here. That way you can either be the hero or the villain. Do you want to reveal the special announcement before the break or after the break? I'm gonna let Erik decide.
I'm trusting you, chat. I will give you the special announcement before our break, but you better stay till the end of this show. But I am so excited for what we are about to tell you, what we're about to share with you, that I don't want to hold on to it anymore.
You want to just let it loose?
We're all having fun.
We're having a good time.
Vibes are high.
3-0. You're undefeated. You are undefeated.
3-0.
My God!
But you know
what? Turn me up!
You know what makes it just a little bit better?
Tell me.
A little sweeter? When you drop this news on people.
Let's do it.
Because joining the PHNX Sun Devils podcast soon, date to be announced, is none other than former Arizona State football head coach Todd Graham.
It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Look, we already talked to him. We already talked to Todd. We've got about 40 minutes of juice with Todd Graham. I can't wait for everybody to watch it. There's a lot of really, really amazing stuff, and he's still very much he was a Sun Devil, man.
I'll give a tease for all of you that are like, why would you want to interview the former Arizona State football head coach right now? Wait until you hear how this man speaks about Arizona State University.
Yeah.
Wait until you hear about the way that he goes off when you just say, hey, what was your favorite memory from being in Tempe? This is somebody that I wouldn't say shocked me. Like, I knew that he could talk. I knew that he liked ASU. But I walked away from that conversation with him floored.
Yeah.
Floored at how much love he has in his heart for this place.
Yeah.
He dropped a "we" multiple times. And that's the most that I'll say of it. but you have to be there. We will let you know exactly when that is going to air.
Soon.
We'll let you know for sure. Make sure that you are here in our Sun Devil show 5 days a week at 1:30 to make sure that you don't miss that. And we are going to get into so much more when it comes to this game.
We are. Just a heads up. Craig Morgan wrote a phenomenal article as well, talking to Coach Todd Graham. Go PHNX.com. There is about 2 minutes of that interview that we did in that article. Definitely go read it again and go PHNX.com. Of course, the one, the only Craig Morgan himself wrote the article, so you know it is going to be a good one.
Listen, this was so awesome. It was so great. Craig's article was phenomenal as always, but of course, when he writes about ASU, we love it a lot. Conversation with Todd Graham was just always flowing.
It was.
And our conversation is going to keep flowing. But first, we must take a break. But I am so excited to remind you that Neutral is keeping it tasty in Tempe, baby. Woo! Man, I love me some Neutral. All right, listen. I don't like that fake stuff, man. I don't like artificial flavors. I don't like artificial tasting things. I am just not a fan. But Neutral tastes so good. Like real good. And that is because it's made with real simple ingredients. Vodka, seltzer, and real juice. How many ingredients is that, Totri? 3. How many wins does ASU have on the season? 3. Neutral 3-0. They have a variety of flavors. Pineapple, watermelon, black cherry, orange, and more. And nothing goes better with college football than Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Neutral. Keep it tasty. Enjoy responsible. 2024 Anheuser-Busch product. Neutral is flavored vodka and carbonation out of St. Louis, Missouri.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I also love our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Guys, always remember, nobody does it better than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They've got a bunch of different locations. My personal favorite is Wild Horse Pass. That's where we had our PHNX fantasy draft. I've told you about it a number of times because it is a whole lot of fun. They've got great food, they've got great drinks, they've got great vibes, and they've got a ton of great ways for you to make money. Go all in with over 4,500 slots and live table games, or catch all the action at any of their sports books. Hey, if you went over to Gila River Resorts and Casinos, could have placed a bet on Arizona State. Just gonna throw that out there. Again, one of their many sports books. Go big or go home a winner. From upscale to approachable, casual to classy, from bar to bar none. They have a ton over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Not to mention, guys, we're going to be hosting events there all year long, including Cards and Sons watch parties and more. So stay tuned for info on how you can come hang out with the PHNX family. Just a reminder, you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
Real quick, speaking of events, this Sunday morning before Cardinals-Rams starting at 10 a.m., we have a PHNX Cardinals tailgate. You can still sign up for at Chicken and Pickle out on the west side. Come get ready for us before the game. And then, of course, we could watch the game at Chicken and Pickle as well. Fantastic place. Go PHNX.com to get your tickets for that. I will be out there on Sunday. Come have some fun with me and make sure you get the chicken and waffles. That's all I got to say.
We'll get back into the game. You want to do one more plug? One more plug before we get back into the game.
What would you like to plug?
Go become a diehard.
Oh, dude.
Head to gophnx.com today. Hit the little diehard tab. It's going to tell you everything that you unlock when you become a PHNX diehard, which is obviously a ton of stuff. But my favorite thing about being a PHNX diehard is the diehard Discord, specifically when it comes to game days. Do we have the photo that we could throw up there? Because this was just a brief glimpse into the diehard Discord. And this was going from like an hour before kickoff.
No, dude, for like 3 or 4 hours before kickoff.
Just going. A ton of PHNX diehards in here. Obviously, just having an absolute blast. Just living and breathing Sun Devil football. You guys can join that community. Again, just one annual price. And this is just one of the many perks of being a PHNX diehard. Definitely check it out. Again, go PHNX.com today to sign up to become a diehard.
We'll get back in the game, but all of our diehards in the chat, feel free to share exactly what you love about the Discord. I know I see Short Bus in here. I see Sharon in here. And I know one of our diehards, Donald, is out on the East Coast.
He's going to be back here at some point.
He's asleep right now, but I know he's listening to this in the morning.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if you saw this yet. Sharon's put in the chat. There's karaoke footage in there.
Yes.
Leah dropped our video. I haven't seen that video.
I haven't seen it either.
Oh,
wait, which video? Was it
It's the really good video. The video that took the
nation by storm?
off.
Okay. Yeah. Let's get back into football.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. If you guys are new here, it is time for the most sus segment on PHNX Sun Devils, the most sus segment out of any all-city show, point blank period. It is where I ask Erik in chat and Captain Redbeard what this game tasted like. It's called Aftertaste, but I don't just ask you in a normal, traditional way.
Dear
so
gosh.
Tonight, Erik, what was Texas tossed into your tonsil holster?
Do I have to answer that?
You do.
This game was hot sauce. This game was.
That's a good one.
This game was hot sauce. Because listen, it was at some points a little too hot. You got a little.
Is this white people hot?
No,
is this white people hot sauce?
It's more.
Okay.
This was a good game, right?
Yeah, you're right.
This is a hot sauce that you take a couple bites, you're like, this might be too spicy, and then that flavor sits in, and you're like, oh no, I like this, and then you go into it a little bit more.
This gotcha.
You're like, oh, I actually like that burn. Right, that's what this game was. Because at first you kind of got knocked down a little bit. It tasted good. Then the heat hit you. Then you adjusted to the heat and you kept eating. And you found out
through.
You found out you really like that hot sauce. And then you started pouring more of the hot sauce.
That was
on
awesome.
There.
That was awesome. Will in the chat tastes like a damn good dilly bar,
dude.
I love it. What about you, Captain Redbeard? What's it taste like to you, man?
This one tasted like a nice dessert.
Nice dessert.
Nice little dessert.
Just the finish was good. The main course, a little iffy at times. You know, maybe the steak wasn't done all the way.
Yeah.
But you get to the dessert and it just hits. It just
brings it home. Like really just sets in.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel that. Special occasion, or is it just like just a random dinner?
Just a random dinner. You know, it's the start of the season. So
I was thinking last night, maybe on vacation. I would say, right? Because it's your last non-con game. I would say that was like your last night. Obviously, they're going to still be on the road at times, but that's what it was like. I feel like that. I'm gonna go with. Oh man, I always come up with these and I never.
Okay, well, let me re-ask you.
Answers.
What was Texas tossed in your tonsil holder, Totri?
Holster.
Sorry.
What was Texas tossed? Wow, this is a tough one. Give me a warhead.
Okay.
Give me a warhead, right? I love sour candies. And for me, if you haven't had a warhead in a while and you just pop that sucker in, it is like, oh wow, that's something. And that's exactly what Jordan McCloud in that offense was like at Texas State. It was like, oh wow, this thing hits and you're down 21-7. And then you really sink into it. I'm just gonna say it's a watermelon warhead because that's where my mind's at. And then you groove with it. Then it's just a nice little tango that you're doing with the warhead, and boom, you got yourself a dub. That's what was Texas tossed into my tonsil holster.
All right, I'm moving on from that now. I'm done. BC, great question in the chat. Thank you, BC. One of our more consistent listeners there says, better win this season, this or Mississippi State? Bar none is this win.
Yeah,
bar none, this is the best win of the season so far.
The only reason Mississippi State was good is because it was the first time you beat an SEC team.
This team was significantly better at almost every single phase.
Let's do a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a test, an experiment here. Okay.
While you're looking whatever you're looking up, this team in Texas State was better than Mississippi State on every single phase of the game, on both sides of the ball and in coaching. That is not debatable. They have a better quarterback. The only thing that probably Mississippi State had that there was not here was a Kevin Coleman. Other than that, this Texas State's defensive line was better. Their secondary was better. Their quarterback was better. Their overall receiving core was better. Their running back was better. Their offensive coordinator was better. Their defensive coordinator was better. And their head coach was better.
That's a lot.
And this is Texas State we're talking about here.
Yeah.
But all that is true.
Back-to-back national champions, by the way, 1981 and 1982.
True. It was a road game on a short week, and you're shorthanded.
Captain Redbeard knows. He knows. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
First road win for Dilly, first road game for Sam Leavitt.
Yeah.
This was the best win of the season, and honestly, this even if they beat Texas Tech until they play Kansas, depending on how good Kansas is, this could be the best win that they have for quite some time, even if they continue to win and stay undefeated.
Yeah.
This was a really massive, important win.
Texas State, better than Mississippi State, easy.
Yes,
better than Wyoming,
period.
Easy.
Period.
I'm going to list the next opponents that Arizona State has throughout the remainder of the season. You tell me if you think Texas State's a better team. Okay? Texas Tech.
I think Texas State's better.
Kansas.
I think Kansas is better slightly.
Utah. Cincinnati.
Texas State.
Oklahoma State.
UCF.
Kansas State. BYU.
Texas State.
Arizona.
I plead the fifth.
That was awesome.
I plead
Absolutely
the
awesome.
fifth.
You never know.
You never know. You never know.
Look, big game for the Wildcats tomorrow.
Huge game for the Wildcats tomorrow. You're going to see who you're really made out of because, you already took down powerhouse NAU. Can you keep that going?
Only by 12
against lowly Kansas State. Can I bring back something for the people for Shane Diefenbach, who's he's playing basketball right now on a team that I'm supposed to be on.
Yeah, but you're grinding.
It's called Lyric.
Wow, you're bringing back Lyric of the game right now?
I'm bringing back. This is a whole.
Wow.
I'm going to read this whole.
Wow.
Just a couple lyrics, okay?
No, you got to sing. You don't read. You sing.
No, I'm going to do this in like slam poetry style. Okay, I'm doing this slam poetry style. Yeah, you just saw it. This is a song we all know and love. And I will perform.
Wait. You gotta put your glasses on.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna. You go. This is your show.
3 is a magic number. Yes, it is. It's a magic number. Somewhere in that ancient mystic trinity, you get 3 as a magic number. That is your lyric of a game.
Wow.
Because we're 3-0.
Incredible. Wait. You see that? Land ho! It's 4-0.
4-0.
4-0, right across the way.
Shirt. Land ho,
right
it's
across
4-0.
the way. Captain Redbeard, he is gonna sail us there. Erik, before we get out of here, anything else from you?
Best win of the season. This team showed that they can bounce back when they face adversity, not just when they're leading, like against Mississippi State when they bent but did not break. They were down on the road on a short week. I could say it a million times, but it's just as impressive no matter how many times I say it. You have a coach, you have a quarterback, you have coordinators, you have a defense, and you have an offense, all that you can be proud of.
I love it.
And if you are looking at where we all were 365 days ago, 2 years ago from today, we are in a completely different place. Enjoy it. Embrace
the end game.
Because guess what? The expectations are coming soon. But if there's one thing that we here in Tempe have been waiting, salivating, frothing at the mouth for, it's those sweet expectations. So embrace it. Get ready, because it's 9 days and you take on your first Big 12 opponent.
I love it.
And it's time to shut up everybody that doubted this team just a little bit more.
Let them know.
Than they've already been shut up already.
It's beautiful. Unfortunately, though, lights are dimming. Okay, they are finally saying it's time to hit the door. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Kyle, Captain Redbeard, do you know what time it is?
It's closing time.
It is closing time. This segment is powered by Neutral. Keep it tasty, Tempe. Enjoy responsibly.
By the way, Anthony Totri sang closing time at karaoke last night. So back-to-back closing times.
I did. Back-to-back closing
and back-to-back days.
Cue that sweet, just sexy music. Gosh, I love it. Guys, let's go ahead. Let's get into closing time. Starting off with QB1. Sam Leavitt is legit. Multiple rushing touchdowns over the last couple weeks. 246 yards through the air, made the big plays when his team needed him most. The second can we got there is a real game. You got a real opponent. You had an opponent punch you in the mouth and you spit blood. You wiped it off and you hit him back. Came through with the knockdown. And finally, 3-0. 3 dubs. Your team is undefeated to start the 2024 college football season. ASU fans, enjoy your weekend as you are 3-0. We will be back tomorrow to talk more about the game, talk about the college football slate. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow Long Neck Larry here at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. You can follow Captain Redbeard at K Coop Sports, guys. But as always, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.